Look around. The rolling green hills, the quiet lakes, the winding paths where the sounds of Manhattan slowly disappear. Standing here, it feels like you've escaped one of the busiest cities on Earth.
Like you've found a piece of untouched nature hidden inside Manhattan. But almost everything you're looking at was built. Every hill was sculpted. Every lake was dug. Hundreds of thousands of trees were planted exactly where someone decided they should go. Even the feeling of peace you're experiencing was part of the design. And before any of this existed, this wasn't wilderness. It was a neighborhood. Families lived here. Children went to school here. Churches stood here. Then an entire community disappeared. Not because of war. Not because of a natural disaster. Because New York wanted a part.
This is the hidden story of Central Park. And once you know it, you'll never see it the same way again.
Part 1. The community that came first. Most people imagine Central Park replaced empty land. That's one of its biggest misconceptions. In the fall of 1825, a 25-year-old shoeshiner named Andrew Williams bought 3 small lots here for just $125. To most people, it looked like rocky land on the edge of the city. To Williams, it represented freedom. At the time, black men in New York needed to own property before they could vote. Owning land wasn't just about having a home. It meant having political power. Other families followed, house by house, garden by garden. The settlement grew. It became known as Seneca Village. By the 1850s, it had become the largest community of free black property owners in pre-Civil War New York. More than 50 homes, 3 churches, a school, gardens, small businesses. Irish and German immigrants also settled there, creating one of the city's rare integrated neighborhoods. It wasn't perfect, but it was something remarkable. People had built stability where few believed they could.
Then, in 1853, New York approved the creation of Central Park. The state used eminent domain, the legal power to take private property for public use.
Families received compensation. Many believed it was far below what their homes were worth. Some fought the decision for years. It didn't matter. By the end of 1857, more than 1,600 people across the future park had been forced to leave. At least 225 came from Seneca Village alone. Their homes were demolished. Their churches disappeared. Their school was erased. Within just a few years, it was as if the community had never existed.
And for many visitors today, that's exactly how it feels.
Part 2. Building nature from scratch. If this wasn't untouched nature, what was it? Certainly not the park we know today. The original landscape was rough. Rocky hills, swamps, quarries, pig farms, scattered settlements. Creating Central Park meant rebuilding almost every inch of it. Workers blasted enormous granite outcrops using 166 tons of gunpowder. They moved nearly 3 million cubic yards of earth. Hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of fertile soil were brought in, much of it from New Jersey. More than 270,000 trees and shrubs were planted.
Not randomly. Every tree, every pathway, every hill was carefully planned.
The lakes were artificial. The waterfalls were engineered. The meadows were created. Central Park wasn't preserved. It was constructed. One of the largest landscape engineering projects of the 19th century. And the remarkable part was that nobody was supposed to notice. Part 3. Engineering Peace. The men behind this vision were Frederick Olmsted and Calvert Vaux. They weren't simply designing a park. They believed they could design better citizens. Olmsted thought crowded cities created stress, conflict, and unhealthy living conditions.
He believed beautiful public spaces could calm people, encourage reflection, and even improve society itself. That philosophy shaped every decision.
Look at the paths. Very few are straight. That's intentional. Curving paths slow people down. They reveal scenery little by little. Instead of rushing toward a destination, you're encouraged simply to wander. Then there's one of the park's greatest engineering tricks. The 4 major roads crossing Manhattan don't cut through the park. They're hidden below it, sunken beneath bridges and trees. You can stand only a few yards away from busy traffic without seeing it, or even realizing it's there. The city never disappeared. It was simply hidden from view. That's the genius of Central Park. It creates the feeling of escape without ever leaving Manhattan. The peace you feel is genuine, but it was also carefully engineered. Part 4. The layers beneath your feet. Even after the park opened, its transformation wasn't finished. Today's Great Lawn wasn't always a lawn. For decades, it was a massive reservoir supplying drinking water to New York City. Only after the reservoir was drained in the 20th century did it become the open field millions enjoy today. Once again, the land was reshaped. History buried beneath another layer of history. Part 5. The Paradox.
Here's what makes Central Park's story so fascinating. Olmsted dreamed of democratic space, a place where rich and poor,
Immigrants and lifelong New Yorkers could share the same landscape. It was a remarkable vision. But achieving that vision required removing one of the few places where free Black New Yorkers had already built exactly that kind of community for themselves. Central Park isn't deceptive because it's beautiful. Its beauty is real. Its design is brilliant. The hidden part is how easily that beauty makes us forget what came before.
So the next time you walk through Central Park, look beyond the trees. Remember Andrew Williams. Remember Seneca Village. Remember the families whose homes once stood beneath the paths you now walk.
Because every landscape tells a story. Sometimes, the most beautiful places hide the most complicated histories. And perhaps the greatest illusion of Central Park isn't that it looks natural. It's that it makes us forget how much had to change to create it.